when replying to a review, is it best to comment with the service provided? Yeah, you can comment with a variation of the product or service, like a mention of the product or service, and you can use different variants of the terms that would be related to the products or services. Also, I would recommend that you, if possible, reference the location in which that service was provided, right? Remember, guys, you can talk about the city or town name. You can mention a county name. You can mention a metropolitan region. You can mention a neighborhood name. You can mention a street name. Don't mention the address. You don't want to give out any personally identifiable information. You don't want to do that. But you can mention a street name, a neighborhood name, or a community name, a section or district within a city or town, a county, a metropolitan region, right? You can do all of those, is what I'm saying. Not in one review reply, but in review replies, you should be either instructing your client to do this or managing this for them, which is you should be replying to each customer review by repeating or referencing the products or services that the company, as long as it's not sensitive subjects, guys, you reference the product or service that the company or the consumer, the customer purchased. And then also, if it's a service area business, where was that delivered to? That product or service, where was it sold? Like in which area, which location was it provided to, right? And again, neighborhood or street name, neighborhood, section or district of city, the city or town name, county name, metropolitan region, etc. All of those you should be mentioning regularly because that adds more relevance to the GBP. Very similarly to how photos and videos do, right? Because it's just, and I promise you, competitors aren't doing that, guys. Not consistently. You do that consistently, the GBP will start to perform better, right? Because it has more relevance. Plus, it shows Google you're responsive to the customers, etc. So thank you, Frank, for choosing On Time Pest Control. We're happy to solve your rodent control problem in Glen Burnie brand. Yep, that's a good way to do it, right? And remember, Glen Burnie, you could probably find, like, right? Just think about this: neighborhoods in Glen Burnie, Maryland. You could look at things like Neighborhood Scout, homes.com. Sometimes you'll see in a carousel up here different names like this. These are, according to Google search, these are neighborhood names, essentially, right? Entities that Google has associated with Glen Burnie. So you could mention a neighborhood name if you know it. You could mention, there's, like I said, homes.com. There's also another one called Neighborhood Scout where you can also find additional neighborhood names. You could then also go look for, in Wikipedia, Glen Burnie. Then you could look at the county, which in this case is Anne Arundel County. Anne Arundel County is likely going to be part of a larger metropolitan region, probably the greater Baltimore area. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just keep going broader and broader. Not rodent control, sorry. Let me close that one out. This one here. Washington, Baltimore combined statistical area. What links here? Hide transclusions, hide links. See, is greater Baltimore in here? Sometimes you'll see that. But in any case, Baltimore, Washington, or you could also call it like the DMV, right? The DC, Maryland, Virginia. Well, that's Northern Virginia or DMV area, et cetera. So all I'm saying is you can figure out the different kind of location modifiers that you could include that would be relevant to that type of a service area business, and make sure that you're just referencing those throughout replies. It's going to make it more relevant over time.